Beyond breaking headlines, this is a second look with context added for perspective.
This is Reprint, edited after the headlines.
All right. Good morning to the West Coast. Good afternoon to the East Coast. This is the Reprint, and I am Crystal Jordan Jennings, and here with my co-host
Victor Flavius on the West Coast. What's happening, Crystal? How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Good morning. How was your weekend?
It was eventful. A lot of work, pretty much. Just trying to, enjoy the weather. I went outside. I enjoyed a lot of sunlight. Went to the pool, chill a little bit. Just try to enjoy nature as much as I can. With everything going on, I unplugged on Friday, and like we talked about, and I spent time just recalibrating.
Yeah.
That's why. How about you? How was your weekend?
Well, you always mention the sunshine because you're there on the West Coast, and
Got to.
Well, we actually had sunshine, but we had the weather that we were promised here in Atlanta a couple weeks ago, maybe last weekend. It actually showed up this weekend, and so I ended up snowed in on Saturday. I had a big day planned. There's a big event, Women of Impact, with Josie's Girls nonprofit. Huge event. So I went to go get my hair. I left to get my hair done around 7:30. Got there, and by the time I got ready to leave at 10 o'clock, there was snow and ice everywhere. Coming back from my hairdresser, I was supposed to leave there and go to this event. The event was canceled. It was a lot, and so I ended up sliding into a ditch. So had to come and get me out, and so I feel like I slid into a ditch because I live in rural Georgia, so it was ice and snow everywhere. Most importantly, the ice. Snow is okay; it's the ice, and so I ended up at 12 o'clock. I was done. I couldn't leave. I mean, our entire area was ice, so I felt like it was a self-imposed holiday. Shabbat. I had a chance to
pretty much, right?
Yes, enjoy the Sabbath with rest. And so I literally took that. Usually I get upset. I mean, Lennox and Parker was planning to honor actress Melinda Williams here.
Yes.
And so she actually flew from LA to Atlanta for us to honor her. And I was stuck here. She was stuck in the hotel. But I think sometimes, you just have to, I'm learning to just unplug and, and realize it's a greater force than you. And so I just ended up watching Bridgerton this weekend.
Oh, nice. I watched Wonder Man this weekend. That was pretty cool too.
Okay.
So Bridgerton, how was that? What was that like?
Well, you know what I would say, I am, I love romance. I've always loved romance. And I think honestly, with all the things happening in the news, just a lot of toxic things and stress inducing information. It felt good just to take a break and just Bridgerton is fantasy. And I think it just it appeals to that inner child in most people that really want to believe that there's this amazing love out there. It's fantasy. It's good fantasy, but it's based in, I think all of us have the desire to be loved and to find our person. And,
right.
And that's what it was. Now I am upset because, Shonda Rhimes only released the first 4 in this series. So of course I binged the first 4. And now I have to wait until I think March for the next part in that series. And it definitely left on a cliffhanger. But I saw on social media, I'm going to do a piece later on it for Lennox and Parker, why people are so obsessed with Bridgerton. But I saw, a lot of it was trending on TikTok and things like that. So I actually enjoyed unplugging and doing that. I did tune in for some of the Grammys, but because we're in
Yeah.
such a time where there's so many political statements being made and information being leaked, and I just needed to take a break. So I think Bridgerton was that perfect break.
That's good. Yeah, I needed a break too. I watched Wonder Man. That was pretty cool. Pretty good show. It took a while to get off the ground because it's a new show and the concept and the acting was pretty good. The main character, I forget his name, but he was really, really, really good. And the movie, of course, took place in California, so it was pretty good. I like the scenery and the acting, and yeah, it was interesting to watch a movie or TV comic series, whatever, come to life from, it was like 8 episodes and then it ended with superpowers. But yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
Okay. I have not heard of that. Is there anybody in it that I would recognize? Like any
Ben Kingsley is in it. He plays like a sidekick almost. He played, of course, he was in Moses. He's in a lot of movies.
Okay.
Ben Kingsley, yeah, he played he was the main character in that. But it had 8 episodes. It's on Disney Plus. Marvel Universe,
Okay.
And I think Wonder Man is like he has these superpowers. The guy was black actor. Okay. And so he had superpowers. I think he's Haitian, but it was really good. Really good to see another black actor, Superman, superpower. He has he can fly, he can pretty much do everything Superman could do. He's Wonder Man. Yeah, he's powerful. Yeah.
Okay, I like it. Hey, I will have to check it out. I will
yes,
definitely
please do.
check it out. Yeah.
I have to check out Bridgerton too. I'm gonna watch that. I haven't seen any Bridgertons at all. So
I haven't seen any Bridgerton. Oh my God. Well, you have to start. Well, you know what? My favorite, and I know we got to get started, but my favorite series of Bridgerton is the Queen Charlotte series.
Okay.
And the reason that it is because first of all, the actress that play Bridgerton is like this series of romance novels, and this it gives you an opportunity to see why certain things happen when you go back in the story before. So the Queen Charlotte series is actually a prequel, because we get a chance to kind of get to know Queen Charlotte when she was a young girl, how she ended up getting married and becoming the queen. But my reason for liking it so much, besides the fact that the writing is amazing, as all the series are, is that it really deals with like mental illness, but it deals with a different perspective. So I don't want to give too much away, but there's a love story. There's a beautiful love story that includes someone, one of the people in the couple has severe mental illness, and it still manages to. I just had never seen anyone so beautifully capture the fact that when people have mental illness, even when it's severe mental illness, there's still people that love them, be it their significant other, their mother, brother, sisters, things like that. And I just have never seen it captured so beautifully. And so that is why the Queen Charlotte series is my favorite. But it just, because I think it just does something. I don't know how they managed to capture the pain and frustration, but yet make it still a love story. It's really beautiful.
Yeah,
so I would suggest you start there. I would suggest you start with the Queen Charlotte. It's a little shorter, and that introduces you to Queen Charlotte. You'll understand who she is, because this whole thing kind of always revolves around her approval between Queen Charlotte and Lady Whistledown. That's like those are the two like voices that we hear from a lot, in the series. But yeah, you can't go wrong with any of them. But I think that's a good place to start.
Okay, I'll check that out. I'll definitely look at that. Trying to see how to get onto Instagram here. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I don't know if we're trying, guys. This is our third week. Is this our third?
Yeah.
Our third week with the reprint, and so we are trying to make sure that we are simultaneously. And I don't know if we're doing it. I don't know if we're doing it or not, but we are here. It is the second day of Black History Month 2026, and man, we kicked it off with the Grammys was last night. And I know a lot of people this morning on social media, that's all I saw was, pictures and clips. And I admit, I don't really like to, at this point, I may have a little bit of ADHD, because I don't like to sit and watch the entire show. I come in and out, and now I know that I'm going to be able to see the clips, on social. But there were some great points to last night's show. Of course, it kicked off with Bruno Mars, and I think beautiful. We know that Bruno Mars is touring. He released a single I think last month. He had a new single that came out. And, Bruno Mars music, I love it because it's just so fun. It's funky, but it makes you want to dance. It reminds you of like how music should. I think it's like the essence of what music should be. It should be fun.
Yeah.
It should make you want to dance. It should make you want to just, throw your cares away. Like, let's don't think about ice. Let's dance on the dance floor. So it opened with Bruno Mars, and Trevor Noah was the host. And this was his 6th and final time hosting the Grammys. Did you get a chance to see him and hear his his comedic wit?
Yes, I saw some of that. He walked around and he talked to what was it, the Clips and Pharrell. He talked about too much fashion in this area, too much going on over here. He walked around the audience. He talked to Jelly Roll, and it was cool. And he walked over and talked to Billie Eilish, and which he was at the King Center last month getting an award at the King Center. So she's well deserving of that. And then he mentioned, of course, Nicki Minaj as not being in the building. And the whole audience erupted. They're like, what? Yeah, they were like just clapping. And he says, she's still at the White House. What did he say? He said that she and Trump are measuring butt sizes. I don't know. It was a funny like. Yeah, Nicki Minaj, yeah.
I saw that he, one of the things that he said was back in 1999, the president had a sex scandal. I think that was Bill Clinton with the Monica Lewinsky scandal.
Yeah,
back in 1999, the president had a sex scandal. People thought computers were about to destroy the world, and Diddy was arrested. Boy, how times have changed. Of course, that was tongue in cheek. They have not changed enough, but isn't it interesting that I coincidentally I saw a piece on Monica Lewinsky. And she, this is the first time, and I can acknowledge this, because when that came out in 1999, I was young. I was in college, and I remember high school or college. I remember thinking like this whole idea of president having an affair and it coming out. It was just it put the country. It was definitely just different, and it felt weird for us to be involved, but there was also such a disgrace to the female involved, right? Because Bill Clinton was very likable. Probably part of his problem is he was so likable, very charming, and he had several. Not only was Monica Lewinsky, but there were several allegations that he had affairs during his time in the White House and even leading up to that. But it was interesting to me now because I understand how the media works and how what it looks like to be, what the I guess the consequences of being in a patriarchal society is. Because I remember people made her out to be this villain, and she was 24 years old, an intern, college intern there at the White House. And I remember just the way people were making fun of her. People, comments, how could he cheat on his wife with someone that looks like her? I mean, she had a really hard time, and I don't think people gave her much grace. And I think it's because that was a very different time. That was before the Me Too movement, and people really would villainize, women that would come out and tell their story. And so I saw that she was speaking, and she, like a documentary on her. I'm not sure where it's placed, but I happened to see it, and I happened to look at her with through a different lens. At that point, she was a little old. She was older than I was, and I just felt like, oh, she shouldn't have done that. But now when I look at it, I'm like, first of all, she was 24. She was an intern. She's working for the president, and the president hits on you. And, at no point, I'm not saying that, she was a young woman, but we didn't talk about how his power, was able to convince her to be in an illicit affair. But just the fact that people demonize this girl, and I probably was one of them because I was young and I didn't know that. I didn't realize how wrong it was, and how it was wrong because he was able to go on. People still feel like he's one of the most liked presidents, of
Yeah.
the United States. And her life was shattered. People didn't want to hire her. She was looked at as a troublemaker. She was the butt of jokes. And I just wish that today's time period, I'm glad that she's getting, she's able to speak out, but, it's just unfair that she was treated like that and made to be the villain. And Bill Clinton was able to move past it and still, retain a sense of integrity and I don't think lost much, of his, status and like actor, I just think people don't think about that. Like now women are actually praised, for coming out, and look at all these women. Look how we're treating Cassie, and she came out and we're saying how great she was, but no one said that about Monica. All we did was tear her down and make fun of her.
I think it's times, right? It's the time that we lived in. So I would say when Monica Lewinsky gate happened back then, whatever you call it, scandal, it wasn't accepted in America for the presidency or the position of the president, the White House, to be in scandals, to be looked at a certain way. Bill Clinton was praised by both parties, both sides. He was charismatic. And so people didn't expect that. And at the time, the White House was such a high place to be in the position in the United States that it just wasn't the case. But then we see, fast forward a little bit later on, when George Bush became president, what happened at Katrina. So I said that Bill Clinton killed the morality of America, the moral views. It started to decline then. And George W. Bush, when Katrina happened, he didn't come and rescue and save and help the African American community. That showed the world how America was as far as like just not helping its own. That's when the world saw, hey, wait a minute, these people have a bad hurricane happen, and the president came and he left and he's not helping. What's going on? So we saw the moral decay of America happen at that point. Then we see TV shows like what's the one with Kerry Washington?
Scandal
made America see a different lens of the presidency and what goes on behind the scenes. It showed Scandal and the other one with Kevin Spacey. What's the one he did?
I love that one. It was on Netflix, and he actually lost that because of all the issues.
But I'm saying that what's it called?
I cannot think of the name of it.
But those two.
Think of the name of it: Kevin Spacey and Robin Wright, because it kind of likened her to a Hillary Clinton.
Yes,
it was so good.
And those two polarizing shows showed the behind the scenes of how dirty politics is, what happens in marriages when you get married and you're in politics, how the wife role is on both. The wife in one was really like a Hillary Bill. She was fed up with him. She was doing her own thing. The other one was dominant. So it showed those two things, and it pretty much gave America a chance to see looking in. So now it's widely accepted because now, people
House of Cards,
right? People have seen how politicians' lives are, what goes on behind the scenes with the voting stuff, it's real dirty business, right? So America has been conditioned, I would say, in the last 20 years when it comes to politics. So now Bill Clinton is not looked at as a dirty old man. He's looked at as, our president who fell from grace. Hillary Clinton picked up her mantle and became a senator, and then she went on to become, ran for president twice. So we've been conditioned. And then we had Barack and Michelle, which again, they tried to do everything with that. And now we're at a place where our president is on national TV dropping the F-bomb.
Yeah.
That couldn't happen 20 years ago.
This showed us the
Yeah.
transitional period, and I
Yep.
do agree with you. I thought Scandal, it trivialized the
Yeah,
position
it did.
of president. It made it,
Yeah.
we were actually like the entertainment value of that show was built around an illustrious affair, an illicit affair the
Yeah.
president was having with Olivia Pope. And it was like, I remember going to a Scandal party, and I know we were totally off, but that's
Scandal
what
party.
like,
That's
like
fine.
you guys know, we are live and it's authentic. I went to a Scandal party, and there were women rooting for the mistress and saying, well, the wife is not, she doesn't understand him, and she's not going to help him be able to stay in position and power. And I'm like, what? Like that? This
Yep.
literally switched things around. In House of Cards, Kevin Spacey and Robin White played this
Crazy.
power hungry couple, and people were rooting for them more so in the power than anything else. It was by any means necessary, So I agree. And now we have a president flipping people off and dropping the F-bomb and all kinds of things.
But I want to tie us back to the Grammys real quick, right? So just tie that in with what we're talking about in the context of the time we're living in, right? I remember, was it 20 years ago, Janet Jackson, her nipple exposed at the Super Bowl situation, and America lost it.
Mm-hmm.
He lost a lot of stuff. The FCC, the charged the networks. It was just Justin Timberlake's, his career took off, and it was bad. Now we go to the Grammys, and Chaperone is on the red carpet with both of her breasts out.
Yeah.
And nobody says a thing about it in terms of like, oh, this is appalling. And FCC doesn't ban anybody. It's actually filmed and it's actually shown on CBS.
Mm-hmm.
Paramount.
I think they did blur out. People said that she brought kink to the carpet. It was.
Yeah, but
I thought it was in very poor taste, but I did see that she actually made best dress on several lists. I saw that.
Of course, she would be. I mean, it's a male dominated. It's a male dominated thing. So
it is, but it wasn't. But to me, it wasn't tasteful, and it didn't look sexy. Now, Taylor,
of course,
had this dress on that was very, very revealing. But to me, that looked sexy. I understand why she made it. Even Heidi Klum had this like very interesting like mold.
Yeah,
like
she did. Yeah,
mold, right. I thought, and I mean that I saw.
That was interesting.
I thought that was sexy, but I did not find. I did not enjoy Chaperone's kinked to the carpet. But the 2026 Grammys had a lot of moments that were unforgettable moments as always. We talked a little bit about Trevor Noah hosting. For me, I guess one of my favorite parts was the tribute with Lauryn Hill to D'Angelo and who else was that? Roberta Flack. Yeah. Lauryn Hill did a memorial tribute to D'Angelo and Roberta Flack. Probably my favorite moment. There were some other moments that were also unforgettable. Justin Timberlake performed. It was good to see Justin Timberlake. It was good to see him because I think a lot of people just quite honestly have been worried about Justin. He has had some kind of erratic sightings. And then I think when this whole Diddy thing came out, a lot of people felt like he might have been involved and were concerned. So just seeing him there and performing, I think was good. And it was also to just remember that he is an amazingly talented artist, even though that's not really what usual gossip is about him. He is extremely talented. I was also happy to see Chris Brown attended the Grammys. He attended with his son. I think that was a very smart PR move on his part to make his
daughter. Is it
his son? He has two daughters and a son, and he brought his son with him. His son looks exactly like a young Chris Brown. There was also a really touching appearance by Regina King. She came out during Tyler, the Creator's set. And I believe that her son, we all know her son passed away a few years ago. I believe her son was a big fan of Tyler, the Creator. And I was almost in tears seeing that because I seeing her do her first interview last year about, moving on in her life, after losing her son. So I hope that was a beautiful moment for her.
Yeah, she needed that moment. I guess we all did, but she needed it. With her son passing, that's a tough place to be. Just to raise a child to be in the 20s, even 30s, and then they take their life. And yeah, it's unfortunate for a parent.
There was another moment, unforgettable moment with the Grammys. Kendrick Lamar is now the most nominated hip hop artist. He actually
Yes, he is
swept up. Now, did you see Cher make the blunder? Cher goes up for, I guess it was Best Rap Album, because he won Best Rap Album, Best Rap Song, and she goes up to give the award, and she's looking at the teleprompter, and she says, "Oh, they were supposed to have it on the teleprompter." Now she looked great. That's all anybody can say is Cher looked great. We know Cher.
Of course, Cher, of course.
And she looked great. She's got this blonde, I feel like it was a lace front in, and she looks great. And then she says, well, they don't show her the winner on the teleprompter. And then she's like, oh, then she realizes it's in the envelope. And she says, Luther Vandross, because the song was Luther by Kendrick and SZA.
Yeah.
And everybody just, it's Cher. So we know that she has, I don't know if they're blonde moments. I guess we'll just call them Cher moments. It was she's, Cher, she can do what she wants, but it was definitely a funny moment. She's like, Luther Vandross. It was like,
yeah, I saw that. It was funny. But you would think Cher, who has been coming to the Grammys or been in music for the last 80 years, would know teleprompter and, envelope. Maybe she didn't. I don't know.
I think Cher is just like, is she there? She's just Cher, so she probably is not paying attention. I don't know if she came with her because she has a husband that's like 36. She's got young, I don't know if they're married, but they're definitely together. Very, very young escort or young significant other. But she looked amazing. She definitely looked amazing, and it's good to see us still celebrating, our legends like that. Best New Artist, Olivia Dean.
Yeah, she's really good.
Yeah, she performed. It was a lot. Anything? What stood out for you? What are your memorable moments from the clips?
Trevor Noah, this is his sixth time. What do you call it? His sixth time hosting. Can't get my words today. His sixth time hosting, and his last time. I think to be a host live on TV on the spot with that much celebrityism in the room. Mm-hmm. Wow, that was great. So he did a real good job for his last one. He's very, very eloquent, charismatic, and that was good. Bad Bunny gave his speech, and I thought that was spot on, especially the fact that he's going to be in the Super Bowl next week. Mm-hmm. And he gave like a little taste of, he's a good person. Yeah. And from what I'm hearing about him and what has transpired with him protesting in Puerto Rico and just being consistently talking about love and showing that love is how we fight and not,
hate.
By guns and hate. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, America can't hate a man that's built on that. His career is built on that. So, for whatever's transpiring next week with the Super Bowl and people not liking him, he kind of softened that this week with the Grammys. Yeah. I hope he did at least.
Yeah.
So his speech was pretty much spot on, saying we can't fight ICE with hate. We got to fight it with love. Mm-hmm. I like that. That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did too. I did like seeing Doechii win Best Music Video.
Yes.
And Jelly Roll, I have become a fan just of his. Obviously, he had that breakaway single that was huge that everybody loved because it was just his voice was so powerful. But his testimony is beautiful. And coming from being a drug addict to being a number one artist and, speaking very, very candidly about his relationship with Jesus Christ and giving God the glory. Beautiful to see that, and to see him continue to do that has been, I've become a fan just of his.
I must say, Jelly Roll spoke more Jesus than a pastor would on that platform.
Mhm.
I mean, Kirk Franklin, Jelly Roll was like solid with it. Like, thank my Savior Lord Jesus. Like he was 100%
Yeah.
in.
Yep.
And I haven't seen too many Christian artists do the same. And that's embarrassing, but that just shows to show you can't judge a book by its cover.
That's true.
And also the experiences that he's been through in his life has also, showed in his music and in his speeches, because he stayed consistent. He doesn't change. Every time I hear him speak, it's same consistency. He's grateful for his life. He was locked up in prison. He's giving back. He's giving back. So you can't. Somebody like him deserves where he's at to be right now.
I agree.
So that was good too. Yeah, that was a good spot.
I agree. I think overall it was great. I think the Grammys are something that music, obviously, artists look forward to as that pinnacle, of their career. So it's always a great night. Speaking of artists, though, we had a little issue. I wrote an article.
Oh my goodness!
It's kind of gone viral here on the site. So the article was "Why I'm Done with Kanye West," and we kind of talked a little bit about this last week, which is why I wrote the article, and it went up over the weekend because I just, and I we are a media platform. We are a Black media platform, and I've been a part of the media for years. You've been a part of the media for years, and I guess for me, the when others don't appreciate you, it doesn't really hurt, because I think a lot of times we know as people of color that others don't always recognize the importance of us having our own platforms, or even, we had our own platforms because we did not always get acknowledged, at others. And so we created our own platforms to, number one, speak from our voice and be able to speak, have our own ways of showing our talent and our greats, giving them their flowers and celebrating them and getting the word out about them. But when others don't appreciate it, it's one thing, but when our own don't appreciate it, I feel like it hurts a little bit differently. And it also works against us in trying to show others that, we deserve to, get the advertising dollars, or, be in position for certain things. So if mainstream does not recognize, Black platforms, but then Black artists also don't recognize Black platforms, that's a problem. And what is a bigger problem, in my opinion, is that most artists of color start out their careers before they get to be on the big mainstream stage. They start and they are built from the support of Black media. And so this article was written, I used Kanye because he did something I thought was very egregious. He took out a column in the Wall Street Journal and to apologize to the Black and the Jewish community. And I felt like I didn't say anything at first, but we talked about it. Like, why would you take out a page advertisement in the Wall Street Journal to apologize to the Black and Jewish communities? Because it doesn't feel very genuine. It doesn't feel very authentic. It feels very, very strategic and very promotions driven, because the Wall Street Journal, the audience, the demographic there is not necessarily, it's more a economic situation. People are looking there for, what's going on with money. And so it felt very strategic, and it just didn't feel right. I would rather you kept the apology than to put it in the Wall Street Journal and then to do a follow-up. He did a follow-up sit down exclusive on his upcoming album with Vanity Fair. So I just called out the hypocrisy, right? And I feel like, yes, I've been a fan of Kanye West. I was very objective about that. I'm a big fan of his artistry. I remember seeing him for the first time. I notate that in the article. I went to the Usher Confessions concert. I was, there for, I think, my 30th birthday, and I was super excited. I did not know who Kanye was. I'd heard the song on the radio, but it not enough to make me want to go look up who was the artist. But when I saw him perform, I became a fan that night. Usher had all this amazing stuff, but Kanye opened. And so actually Sierra opened, and Sierra was like a main early opener. Kanye West was the main opener. He was on stage with nothing. just him and John Legend, who we didn't know who that was at that moment, with a piano. And Kanye
Right.
got the entire Phillips Arena, which is what it was at that time, on their feet. I became a fan immediately because he had so much passion and he was so intense, and I didn't feel like I had felt anything like that before with an artist. Big fan. His lyrics, his talent is unmatched. My problem is Kanye is one that will constantly play on the emotions of his own community to support him and attempt to weaponize us against others, right? When it came to him fighting the fashion industry, he wanted everyone to be upset and up in arms. They're trying to keep blacks out. He uses these things to his benefit when they benefit him, but then when he gets where he wants to go, then he throws rocks at those same places. And the Jewish community reacted immediately, and they severed ties, financial repercussions. I feel like the Black community is a place where there's a lot of grace and there's a lot of forgiveness and there's a lot of love, which is great. But it also hurts us because when those artists that are part of our community, when they don't show respect or reverence, it hurts us business wise. So if you're going to use us, then I can say it's hypocritical of you to try to play on my emotions to get me to go buy your album. You don't respect Black media. You don't respect the Black community. You have made comments, slavery was a choice, and all these different things to create conversation and to play on, use your own history and pain of our community to benefit you. And when you attempt to make an apology for that, it's disingenuous. So I just felt like this, and as a media platform, I feel like we needed to speak up. And so that's what we did.
That was a great article that you wrote, a great piece you wrote for the magazine, for the site. And my take on Kanye West, I like his music. I'm not gonna lie. He's one of the artists. He's one of the only artists that I listen to or have listened to that I felt progression. Mm-hmm. And when I say progression, I don't mean forward or back. I mean just in terms of direction of music. He's always in tune with whatever's going on around him, and it changes all the time. So you don't get the same exact sound. You don't get the same exact music every single time. And people tend to don't like that, but he does move the ball forward in the culture. I guess where you were coming from and what I felt the article did was say, hey, not you've been here for a minute and you haven't given back to the community. You haven't reached back. You haven't, not so much give back, but the place where you came from that supported you, you have not supported in the way how we should be supported. Other white bands, brands, companies, artists, they still go to the Rolling Stones. They still go to all the big publications, Vanity Fair and TMZ, and all the big platforms get those artists, and then we get nothing. One of our big platforms, I guess we could say Joe Budden podcast is a big platform. Complex might be one, but that's not really Black. But for the most part,
I feel like Essence, or I mean, if he really wanted to have a conversation, the ad in Wall Street Journal was at the most $277,000 to Kanye.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That's nothing. Yeah. If you had spent that money with several Black publications, right?
Across the board, yeah.
Across the board, I think that would have been a bigger, and I'm not saying if you want to put it in the Wall Street Journal in addition to, that's fine, right? Because we know you want shareholders and all that. I'm not opposed to that, but I'm saying just the initial offering to say, if I'm trying to connect with the Black community, I'm going to speak to the Black community, and there are numerous Black platforms, media platforms that they could have spent that equal amount. $277,000 is not a lot of money to him, and for a media buy, it's a page. If it had been in Glamour or something, it would have been much more. But I feel like he could have made an effort to make it a genuine apology that actually would reach that base. The problem, and then I also said, just to, and it was an op-ed, right? So it wasn't, it's not Bible, but it's an op-ed. But I just feel like a lot of the moves that he has made have proven to be very anti-Black, right? So making a song, Kanye's workout plan, you're making fun of the fact that when a man gets on, he's going to leave the woman for a non-Black woman, right? And then his behavior, definitely, Kanye's made it clear that his preference is definitely non-Black women. I just feel like it's not, so all of these things, when you do these little things and then saying that slavery was a choice, wearing white supremacist paraphernalia, you're just playing with, the culture. And I feel like he's playing with the culture, and he has for a while. And I just felt needed to speak on it.
Yeah, again, your voice is very noted and loud when it comes to that, because I think it's very much so, because he didn't go to the Black community at first. He went to the Jewish community at first to apologize. He sat with a rabbi and he apologized and said whatever. But to us, we get the bottom portion of an ad that and not even a whole part, just a paragraph, saying that, we've all supported him. Yeah, we know we all support you, but you didn't come to the community. You didn't make the rounds and sat down and talked to us to see how it affected us, because we're the ones still dealing with the brunt of whenever you say slavery was a choice and all this other stuff. You put our whole community at risk when it comes to that. And so, here you are, a billionaire, and you don't reach back and spend any type of resources with the community that put you on, that still supports you to today. So I agree with your op-ed. I think that, enough is enough. We have to know when to draw the line in the sand. Yeah, he's Kanye West. Yeah, his music is great, but wrong is wrong and right is right. And if you're going to spend money anywhere and you go drop it in Wall Street Journal and then come to find out a week later, you just got to deal with Gamma. Gamma just signed you and is going to put your music out. So now this all was aligned, and you called it, Crystal, last week when you said that. This is all in a line for the people that he's spending money with, that need to show that, okay, you made your apologies, you made your rounds. Now you sat with Vanity Fair. You have sat down with any Black publication or media company at all to even say anything, but we must forgive you and we must move on. And then you drop the album. What, we supposed to go buy the album as an apology? I mean, what's coming on? What's going on?
And we will, because that's one thing about our community. We are long suffering to a fault. But I just feel like, as a media company, we have to say, you cannot. I mean, and it's the principle. I see a lot of people, a lot of his fans were commenting, well, Kanye can sell out. He doesn't need you. He's made that clear that he doesn't need the Black community, because he actually spoke out against the Black community. So we're aware of that. What I'm saying is the principle. And if you are going to attempt to play with us with an apology, then we have the right to respond to that apology. And that article was in response to that apology. It was not a response to, I think some of his fans took it out, did not understand, like, well, why are you complaining? We're not complaining. We're just saying, if you're going to use media to apologize to the African-American community, then, you know what?
I'm a fan of Kanye, and yes, I'm complaining. So for those who out there want to say something, I'm going to say something. Kanye West, I'm complaining because, for one, even though you're supposed to be fashion forward and music forward, so what? You got $1 billion, so what? I mean, you're still taking our energy and our time, and my time is valuable. My energy is valuable. I might not have the money you have, but you're still taking people's time and energy, and that's what celebrities of that power feed off of people's energy. Mm-hmm. Our currency is our time and our energy. That's what real currency is: time and energy. Yeah, and these same artists fight for their rights when they get to the top level and they can't buy their masters back, because that master that they bought, that first album that made them who they are, that was their time and energy. So we can't say I'm offended because you did not come to any Black publication and sat down with them. You didn't do it.
If he sat down and he could do multiple, right? And I get it. I'm a publicist.
Do it.
It's about exclusivity, but he could have sat down with Charlamagne. He could have done, or a Black platform to his liking, or, like I said, spread it across the gamut of Black platforms. But I'm just saying, in that token, it seemed very disingenuous.
But to lean a little bit more into it, right? Check us out. So Kanye makes all these clothes that we supposed to call fashion. That's like, oh, this is dope. This is dope. Come on now. All the Nazi stuff on his clothes, the weird looking stuff, the extra big. I mean, let's be honest. Let's stop lying to each other. That's not fashionable. Who's wearing that? Like,
Well,
who, you buy it. People buy it for clout and to have as a keepsake, but really, no one's flooding the market wearing Kanye West's shoes or clothes. And yeah, it might be fashionable to a certain point to certain people, but that's not the masses. You know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes what happens is a disconnect happens where people feel they're so bigger than the world, and I'm me, I'm him. I could just do whatever, and people will take it. And yes, that happens because people are followers and they're not leaders. And so Kanye West is taking advantage of that. So he doesn't have to come back to the Black community. He can say, you know what? I've made it. I'm here. And if you love me or not, that's up to you. I don't really care. And that's right. Because guess what? We are not the ones that we make the culture. We spend the money, but we don't get the same respect back.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. And if we don't speak out, then we never will. Right. So I just feel like it's about, just like he spoke out when he was upset because the fashion industry would not allow him to entrance. And like they were holding him back because of his race. And he wanted, Black people to get behind him and support and understand it. Then he got to a certain amount of money and he realized, I don't need them. Well, that's fine. But we also have a right to speak out. And that's what I feel like we have a duty and commitment if we're going to be a authentic site to actually speak out against things that are wrong towards our community. Moving on in that same vein, the things that are ridiculous and affecting the entire community. More of these Epstein files were released. The Department of Justice published 3.5 million pages of Epstein files. And of course, these were all tied to the late financier Jeffrey Epstein, and includes several well-known public figures. Among the people whose names appeared in the files are tech billionaire Elon Musk, Sir Richard Branson, former British Royal Prince Andrew, and former U.S. President Bill Clinton, and of course, Donald Trump. I also, for some reason, Jay-Z's name was in there. I'm not sure what that's about. It feels like pandering. Tammy, Russell Wilson's name was mentioned, but Russell Wilson immediately shut that down and explained immediately. And I love the way he did this. He immediately came out and explained that he had been approached to buy a private jet. And I guess this jet belonged to Jeffrey Epstein. He refused. He didn't know who the jet belonged to, but he actually was not open to buy it. And he's never met Jeffrey Epstein. Later, he found out that's who owned the jet, but he cleared that up immediately. So shouts out to Russell Wilson for making sure that, clarity came to his name as opposed to staying silent and to get caught up with that. But there were a lot of names mentioned. Yeah. Pusha T.
Well, the Jay-Z and the Pusha T thing, from what I've heard, is that the Jay-Z stuff happened back in 1996 or whatever. So this is when he dropped his first album or whatever. So it wouldn't have been anything that would be anything.
I would be very shocked if that.
But the thing is, from what I'm hearing, it was from a tip line. It wasn't necessarily Epstein files. It was they grab all the tip line stuff or whatever, and so somebody called and did whatever, who knows what that was about. But I don't think, Jeffrey, what's his name? Jay-Z and Pusha T. Nah, I doubt that.
I'm not. First of all, Victor, do you know, what? Where is all this? Where is this coming? I'm just confused. I don't know. And I'm sure I speak for probably a lot of people watching. I don't understand why little bits of these Epstein files keep getting released at various times. I feel like we're being spoiled. Either release the whole thing or leave us alone. We are confident that Donald Trump was somehow in there, but either release and the information or keep it. It just feels like this is going on. This has been 2 years.
I don't think people are ready for what's coming out on it. And I mean, people hear things. But you have to remember too, America, a lot of the times Americans aren't ready for the real. Like we say we want it, we want it, we want it. And then when you give it, it's like, oh, that didn't happen. We've seen it last week when the guy got killed in Minneapolis and the lady got shot, and then they're like, no, that didn't really happen. Well, everyone saw it, so everyone knows what's going on with this whole thing with Donald Trump, and there's a whole thing going around where they talk about him bringing girls into the room and then him using his finger to measure whatever a woman's body part and then give it to that person. That's sex trafficking. That's allegedly that's what is in the documents.
Mhm.
And so we all know this. We've heard him. People say he grabbed women by their genitalias.
Said that.
All the rape that happens that allegedly he's been indicted for, but yet he's president of the United States. This man has
Right.
made over $100 and something billion while he's been president this time around,
Mhm.
right? And so the truth is out there, and people are giving it and telling it and saying it and showing it, but people are not believing it. You have people that still believe that Donald Trump is, God's gift to the world. And then just like Mr. West, his wife drops a movie and expects people to flood and come to see it. Like, what do you think this time we're living in? And so I don't know. First of all, I don't know how they got 3 million pages of a document. First of all, what 3 million pages? And most of it's redacted. And then the FBI says, we're going to redact the names of the victims. But then they release it with all the names opened up. So the victims are like, wait a minute, what's going on? So it's really, really messy. And I think they're trying to hide something. I think they're trying to hide stuff, in these documents. But there's talk of murder. There's talk of this conspiracy. There's a lot of.
Well, I'm sure I speak for some of us. We're tired. We're tired. I mean, it's the beginning of the year. And we have enough going on with ICE. And we just either release the information and put these people on blast or keep it. But cherry picking and dropping little pieces, it just is enough to keep people distracted from the fact that the government is shut down right now. You know what I mean?
They're the one that, and that's all I do.
They have us talking about this stupid Epstein files. Do we know that powerful men abuse their power through sexual?
Yes.
I'm sure that there are a lot of people that we all we would be hurt if we knew what they did behind the scenes. But the mystery and keeping it drawn out to hold, I feel like it's enough, and I feel like it's at this point it's abuse of the American people.
Just the fact that Donald Trump is president. Just the fact that Donald Trump is president and he's been indicted for a lot of different things, it tells you where this country is. The people who put him in that position, in that place, and is paying him money to still be there.
Yeah.
And he's on the American people. It drives me insane. But every day there's something coming out. But go ahead, you were saying.
Oh well, I was actually. I'm sorry. We were.
No, you're fine.
To the people that were celebrities cited at his advisor's wedding. Now, I guess I'm kind of feeling like there's a lot of wagging the dog here, right? This is there were
Sexy Red.
First of all, well, I'm not I guess it's not even for me to be a huge fan, but rapper Sexy Red sparked major online buzz this weekend after performing at the wedding of President Donald Trump's advisor, Alex Brewitz, in a celebration blending music, politics, and high-profile guests. This is just, ways to connect from that administration, to connect names of influence with that administration, so that people feel like, oh, these people are on board with them. Nicki Minaj was there, allegedly. Michael Blackson, Amber Rose, Kenneth Petty, who of course is Nicki Minaj's husband. Allegedly, Robin Thicke and 50 Cent were there, but I did see people say that they didn't have any photos of them. And someone else said that 50 Cent actually was performing someplace else during that.
Yeah.
But it was a lot. I think this is being used again to divide. Like, it's distraction. I really don't care. At the end of the day, canceling people because of their affiliation, it may make some people feel good, but I think it takes away from the fact that, like I said, the government is shut down. We have other stuff going on. If Sexy Red wants to go, twerk at this person's thing, are you guys gonna stop buying the music? Because when we said that Kanye West was basically being inauthentic and hypocritical with the Black community, people responded and said, we still want to support Kanye. So we don't care if people treat us badly, but we do care, and we do want to tweet about it if Sexy Red goes to. And what is Sexy Red? She's obviously being paid because she has nothing in common with this Bruitt's character. It's just like when we saw Ice Spice hanging out with Taylor Swift and Blake Lively. Like, what is this about? Why do we care?
I don't even think it's about why do we care. I think it's just a time that we got to draw lines in the sand. And it shows the hypocrisy of these people, because they're the same people that don't want to be around NIGAAs, right? And be honest, but they're the same people that listen to hip hop music and rap music, and their wives dance to it and party to it. I'm sure he doesn't care about it, but his wife is like, I want this here. We see the vice president who's married to a person of color, but he is with Trump. A lot of these people
weaponize, use us, the commercial music,
but they dance to it. They go to clubs and they party, and that's what's being played, and they're the ones that use and rap the words with all the slurs and stuff in it. They use it and they do it because guess what? They're empowered. They can do that. So when they have a party or a wedding, who are they going to invite? They're not going to invite what's the guy's name? Kid
Rock.
Kid Rock. They're not going to invite Kid Rock to the event. They're going to invite.
But the wedding is not. I mean, what is Sexy Red? We're not wedding friendly.
I know that, but what I'm trying to tell you is our music and our culture is still what drives. Yeah, exactly. They're so happy to be taking pictures with Nicki Minaj. Trust me, people love celebrities, and they are so happy to be with Nicki Minaj taking these pictures. All those white men line up and take. They're like, wow, Nicki Minaj, because to their to these white men. These older white men, their grandkids love this. Their grandkids are, oh, granddad, you was with Nicki Minaj this week. My granddad is cool. So he's cool. Because these grandkids are all hip hop out, mixed in with what we're doing. They're down for the cause. They're cool with that. But these older white folks, they're not down with that. So you have Nicki Minaj.
It's probably also a reflection of Black culture as a whole, not just Black women, but just as a whole.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, of course. So I'm saying this is the reality. Huh?
I'm over it. I know you can tell I'm just over it today. Crystal is over it.
Oh, no. I'm over it too. I'm just saying we have to draw lines. We have to draw lines in the sand where reality is. And I'm not going to say guilty by association. You can't be around white people, or you can't be at a Republican event or whatever. Yeah. Do you, but don't do you in one way and then come and say this is what we all want another way. Don't go over here and get the $1 million bag and then turn around and tell the Black community who's suffering that something else. So you gotta stick with it. If you're gonna be hypocritical, be hypocritical. That's all I'm saying. That's across the board, yeah. So
let's end today on. I do think this is another series. It's just everything is so solemn. This is a very important. It's an important question because we're talking about children and the fact that so many young people have been taken advantage of, and I think we're in a culture where that's being exposed. There was a situation in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where a middle school counselor was having inappropriate text messages with a 14-year-old student at the school. The counselor, identified as Quentin Dixon, worked at Westdale Middle School and was placed on administrative leave while authorities investigated the allegations. The police say that he was sending suggestive Instagram messages and flirty remarks and comments seen by investigators as grooming behavior. After he was, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. What's going on here? After he was put on administrative leave, he was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound on the campus of a closed school facility in Baton Rouge. Authorities ruled his death a suicide amid the ongoing investigation. So the young lady, 14-year-old's brother spoke out, and it raised a question. So in this situation, that they have acknowledged that there was inappropriate messaging between this guidance counselor and the student. So everyone remembers, being in school, the guidance counselor is who you would go if you have a problem, if you want to talk about, college, or just, counselor is supposed to be there to provide support, even mental, if you have issues and you're worried about something, you would go to the guidance counselor.
Yeah.
This man was the definition of abuse of power, by having conversations with this young lady. I heard some of it was like him just saying that it was, he couldn't imagine if he was her age, to a 14-year-old girl. So even though he is no longer here, he obviously felt something compelled him to unalive himself.
Right.
Even before he went to court, just when he was put on leave and this information was coming out. So her brother had a lot to say, even though he is no longer here.
The blow that this situation caused mentally, it's been really, really, really heavy on him. And it's an emotion. It's hard not to get emotional about it. Just looking at the aftermath, it's a lot for a 14-year-old to carry on their shoulders. And the facility that was supposed to protect my sister, they failed. They failed. And that's just plain black and white. The school system failed. East Baton Rouge Parish school system, they failed. My little sister, that's something to deal with for a lifetime. A lifetime. So yeah, she's up in good spirits considering everything that has been happening. We've been staying close to her. East Baton Rouge school system, they need to be held accountable, because like I said, a kid dealing with a pedophile that's supposed to protect them from things like this, on top of being a guidance counselor, does this to them. They have to deal with that aftermath. And then a week later, he commits suicide. That's unthinkable what a 14-year-old would be feeling. So yes, someone needs to be held accountable. That guy was.
The question is, who should be held accountable? Is the school system liable? I definitely agree with him. That is unbelievable for that young woman to have to deal with. Not only young girl at 14, not only has she been, and we don't even know the extent. We don't know the extent of what that situation was. We know they found text messages, so there's evidence of that. But then for him to have gotten caught and then to him to unalive himself, she's probably going to feel some sense of responsibility for that emotionally. Who is responsible? The school system? Like, how does who? I don't know. I think that's a great question.
Yeah, I think he hit it on the nail with that one. I think on the head with that one. I think the school system is somewhat responsible for that, especially if we find out that they heard about it from her, or if she told someone about it. Hopefully she did. We don't know the whole story as far as everything yet, because it hasn't all come out yet, but it's going to haunt her for her life, like he said, because she's going to feel responsible that he committed suicide. And it's not even her fault. Like, here's a young woman coming to a man for advice, an adult. I mean, you're 14. I remember when you were 14, how you felt? Mm-hmm. You knew nothing at 14, not even 6, not even 20. Like, the 21-year-olds that still don't even know what they want.
Your
so
brain
14
is and then 14, to have, and then what people don't talk about, and is that she probably was like, if a teacher, guidance counselor, takes interest in you, sometimes we don't know what her home life was like. We don't know if that to
Yeah.
her felt like a compliment, if she was close to him and appreciated him. And so that she could have feelings for him, like as far as like not realizing how sick that is. I remember when I was that age, when adult men would prey on young, because that was very common. It's very common. We just
Yeah.
don't talk about it.
Still
You
is
don't
common. Yeah.
realize at 14 that's wrong. You
That's
think,
middle
oh,
school.
there's something special about me that's making him talk to me. There's something special about their kids. A child's sense of self is very easily manipulated by adults.
Yeah.
So she probably felt flattered that this older, attractive man that she looked up to was taking special interest in her, complimenting her. And then for all of this to take place, I think it raises questions like, are schools creating safe spaces? Are children ever like? Because really, you go in the guidance counselor's office and close the door. That doesn't feel. But now I don't. At this point, if I had a child, I wouldn't want him to be in a closed door with anybody at this point. And probably should never have been. But it just raises a good point. I know we can't go all into it today, but we will definitely be watching the story.
There are safeguards that need to happen. First of all, as a man, I wouldn't go into any room with a young person, a male or female, white or black. If I'm in a room with a younger person, I need the door open. I need somebody else to be in the room, because just to take the blame off of me, per se. Not saying I'm doing anything. I'm saying just the appearance of it. Yeah, appearance of it is what it's all about. And the school should have had systems in place. But you know what the problem too is? Schools are underfunded. A lot of these schools don't have the resources, and the teachers are overwhelmed. I'm not saying I'm not taking the blame off for him. I'm saying school systems need to be put in place. And when you have underfunded schools, you have no resources, there's no money coming in, they start to cut programs, and they start to cut safeguards because of time and money and everything else. So a lot of these teachers have to find alternative ways to make up for that. And so maybe the school doesn't have the resources, but still, there still needs to be if you don't have the resources, guess what? Put it female to female, male to male. Don't mix the genders like that. And then you... Yeah.
But I would say, I was going to say with females too, because there was a case, I believe in Texas, but I'm not for sure, but there was a female teacher having inappropriate text messages with a male student. I think it's both genders at this point, and even same genders, because I would, you would not want to have a female adult doing that to a female child. So I just feel like at this point, there needs to be safeguards with adults and children, and there needs to be numerous levels of like where that can't, something like that can't happen. And even still, it probably will, but hopefully that family will find some peace and some help for their that young lady. That's heartbreaking. And then his guilt causing him to do that, and she's probably going to have to deal with that. But I think hopefully all these situations get us talking so that we can reduce the number of victims, that it is out there. Well, we got to get out of here today. Victor, can you give us anything positive to end today's broadcast with?
This is Black History Month, everybody. Go out there, support any Black business. I don't care if it's your friend, your mom, your dad, your cousin, your neighborhood local store, online business. Support a Black business. This is the time where we could get out more and learn more about the different brands. There are multiple brands if you want to buy candles, books. I don't care what you want to buy. We don't just do music and entertainment. We do other things as well too. If you want to support a young person in school by donating money, books, whatever, support a Black person, support a Black business, support a Black creative. That's my good word for the day. I
agree. I definitely agree. I think we should do that all the time. And I'm going to take it a step further. Support us. We are a Black media company, and we are committed to really telling our stories and being a voice for our community. So please get to know us. Please visit lennoxandparker.com.
Subscribe.
and subscribe here for the reprint. We look forward to seeing you guys Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Hopefully, once we, build this up, we'll be able to do it on a daily basis and be a daily resource for news. So we look forward to seeing you guys 3 times a week and being able to share. We look forward to seeing your comments and commentary. If you want to speak on or have comments about any of the topics that we spoke on today, please leave them in the comments. We do love to read them and we do respond to them as well. And then, like I said, please visit the website for more. Other than that, I think we are going to get out of here for today. We will be back on Wednesday, 9 a.m. sharp on the West Coast and 12 p.m. sharp here on the East Coast. We'll see you guys soon. Be safe.
Peace out. Thank y'all.
It's 12 noon on the East Coast, 9 a.m. on the West.
And this is Reprint.
This isn't breaking headlines. This is a second look with context added for perspective.
This is Reprint, edited after the headlines.